Alright dudes, welcome back to the Netherrealm. I'm Hazink, and today we're going to talk about weapon mastery. Now, before we jump in and talk about that, I've been told this is becoming a bit of a catchphrase for me, but if you've not already, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, help it grow, and that's enough. Let's talk about weapon mastery. So, there seems to be a little bit of confusion with some people, not everyone. So if you already know about this, then that's fine, but not everyone does. So we're going to go in, we're going to talk about weapon mastery, what it actually does, and if you should or should not invest your mana into weapon mastery opposed to putting it in to your base stats. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to use free characters specifically. Now the reason that I'm using free characters specifically is two of them have the same weapon mastery. One of them has a slightly higher weapon mastery, but the two that have the same weapon mastery, one of them, their 40 is this type of weapon. The other one, it's not their 40, but the weapon mastery is the same due to investment from me. So we're going to take a look at what it actually does, and then answer the question of whether or not you should be investing in weapon mastery. Okay, so let's jump in and take a look at what I have prepped to do this with. Right, so first off, we're going to go in and look at the weapon that I'm going to be using for this example. Okay, so the weapon I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using the Lion King's sword. Okay, so if we look, the Lion King's sword, before it's equipped to anyone, okay, the Lion King's sword is going to give a stat for attack of 220,571. Okay, now I'll probably pop these up on screen so that you can kind of keep an eye on them. Okay, so it's going to give a stat of 220,571. Now let's go and look at what happens when we equip that to characters. Okay, so straight off the bat, I'm going to equip it to the character who has the highest weapon mastery for swords. So if we go back to the party, I'm going to do this on my party I've got sitting just, where is it? This one here, right? And we'll start off by Laharo, okay? So if I go into Laharo, you can see at the bottom, Laharo is at weapon mastery 11 out of 24, because I have been investing my weapon mastery into him, okay? So he's at level 11 out of 24. So let's see what happens when I put this weapon onto Laharo. So if we go to equip, weapon, Lion King's sword, we can see that instead of having an attack stat of 220,571, it's going to have an attack stat of 269,096. So it's quite a big jump, okay? So you can see there that weapon mastery is going to give him more power using that sword. And in essence, what it basically means is, give a sword to an unskilled person, it's going to be so powerful. Give it to someone who's really skilled using a sword, it's going to be more powerful, okay? So basically, Cliff Notes too long didn't read, I've just explained weapon mastery, okay? But let's go and look at what happens if we put that sword onto someone else whose 40 is swords, but they have a slightly lower weapon mastery. So we're going to go for this example and we're going to use Valvatorez. Now as you can see, Valvatorez has a weapon mastery of 10 out of 24. So he's not quite on the level of Laharo yet. He's just a little bit behind them. If we use that exact same weapon, you'll see that the attack stat he's going to get is 264,685. So it's about 40 odd K less, okay? When he hits that next weapon mastery, he will get the same stat as Laharo, so it does scale, okay? Now, you can see yourself there that that is a decent amount, actually, and it's going to scale with weapons. So if you have weapons that have a base stat of 1 million attack, your gain is going to be a lot higher, because obviously it's percentage based. It's around 2% per weapon mastery level. Now, both of those characters, their 40 is swords, okay? Let's have a look at what happens when you use a character whose 40 isn't swords, but they have the same level of weapon mastery. So with me, I've been predominantly using my Santa Laharo as a sword user, and you can see there that he does have a sword rating of 10 out of 10. However, his 40 is axe, okay? So if we put the exact same weapon onto him, you'll notice he also gets 264,685, matching what Valvatorez got at the same weapon mastery level, okay? So 40 isn't affecting the boost that you get to stats by investing in weapon mastery, okay? You're going to get the same gains if you boost up a character that's, say, a gun user, try and train them up to be a sword user, they're going to get the same kind of gains, okay? Now, not only do you get boosts to your stats from raising your weapon mastery, you also, the further you go, the more you level them up, you get access to additional attacks, okay? With sword, for example, you get 2 really good AoE attacks, okay? I've still got to get to the point where I can access them because it's now a bit of a grind to level up that weapon mastery, and it's probably going to take a bit of time. But each time I'm grinding and I'm doing stuff, I'm constantly getting stronger. So not only is my character getting stronger through XP, as I'm leveling up this new weapon mastery, I'm going to continue to level up those stats. So I'm going to continue to get attack. Now, if you apply that to someone like a magic user who gets resistance and they also get intelligence, both of those stats are going to climb up. So it can make a really big difference to how your characters are going to perform and how your characters are going to operate, especially later in the game. Now, the big question you're probably asking yourself is, should I invest in weapon mastery using mana? I don't know if anyone's noticed this. You probably should have by now, but if you go to Mal's Lab, with Mal's Lab, you can consume your mana, okay? You can allocate your mana. And obviously we've touched before about allocating your mana into these things here, so into your base stats. Now the good thing about this is, at the start, okay, as you're kind of not at the point where you can really boost your weapon mastery, you can put boosts into your stats, okay? And you can reset them 3 times for free. So until you need to use this, then feel free to boost your stats, okay? Feel free to boost up your attack or whatever you need to boost up. Feel free to do that. But when you hit the point where you want to put into weapon mastery, you can reset it, get all your mana back, and then you jump over to here, and that's when you can start investing in weapon mastery. Now what you will notice, however, is the little button that said reset is gone. So once you invest into weapon mastery, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. So you need to make sure that the character that you're putting your mana into, you want that to be what they're specialist in, okay? So don't go willy-nilly putting things into fist, then into intelligence. Just put weapon mastery into what you need that character to be a specialist in, okay? So if you're going to run a sword team and you've got your sword users, then you know what you want to boost, okay? However, doing it too early, you're probably not going to get a gain out of it just now, so you might as well put it into standard boosts like this one, and when you hit a point where you know you want to start pushing on, then put that into your weapon mastery, and you're going to see big gains throughout the game. Hopefully I've explained that to you quite well and you understand where I'm coming from, but like I say, the main thing to take away from this is weapon mastery scales with the weapon. So you might only get 2%, but 2% of 1 million is still quite a lot, okay? 2% of 3 million, so on, so forth. And you're going to continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger gear from Disgaea. So putting investment into weapon mastery can make a big difference with how hard you're going to hit, with how well you're going to perform spells, etc. So just make sure you take advantage of it, and you will see your weapons doing a lot more damage going forward. So anyway guys, I've been Hazink. Thanks for joining me on this video in the Netherrealm, and I will catch you on the next Disgaea RPG video, dudes. See ya.